Welcome back to my channel. I truly appreciate that you have given me your precious time to watch today's video. Your support means the world. Today's topic is, Are You Fool? The funny journey of a married couple. If you're enjoying this content, then stay with me till the end, because I've got some amazing things to share that you don't want to miss. Khepri and Nefret were a newly married couple in the heart of ancient Egypt, where the golden sands met the great Nile, and the temples rose proudly with their carved walls telling stories of gods and kings. Khepri thought marriage would be like the songs sung by the temple musicians, filled with endless romance and admiration, while Nefret imagined a fairy tale where her husband would always understand her feelings before she spoke. But reality had its own plan. On their wedding night, Khepri proudly declared, "Nefret, from today, I am the pharaoh of this house." Nefret, adjusting her jewelry, smiled slyly and said, "Of course you are the pharaoh, but remember, even pharaohs must listen to their queens." That small exchange set the tone of their married life, funny, sharp, and filled with affection, hidden behind their banter. Their daily life began like any ordinary Egyptian couple of their time. In the mornings, the call of the birds along the Nile and the chatter of fishermen setting out in their reed boats filled the air. Khepri would often wake late, searching for his linen robe or his sandals, and shout, "Where is my robe?" "I placed it near the bed." Nefret, grinding barley for bread, would reply, "It's folded neatly on the stool. Open your eyes." Irritated, Khepri would answer, "Are you fool? You moved it again." And Nefret would roll her eyes, "No, you fool. It has been there all along." Their neighbors in the mud brick houses nearby often laughed when they overheard such quarrels drifting through the open windows, but Khepri and Nefret knew these small sparks of irritation were part of the flame that kept their life warm. One day, Khepri decided to surprise his wife with a gift from the bustling market of Memphis. He walked past sellers of perfumes, jewelers with shining gold, and weavers with fine linen. After hours of searching, he proudly returned home with a large clay pot balanced on his shoulder. "Look, my queen," he announced, "I bought this for you." Nefret's eyes lit up for a moment, thinking it was jewelry hidden inside, but when he placed the heavy pot before her, she exclaimed, "Are you fool? I asked for a necklace, not a pot." Khepri defended himself, "But this pot will store more grain, save us silver, and one day I'll buy you the necklace." Nefret laughed, shaking her head. "So you expect me to thank you now for waiting 10 years. And that moment, standing in their small courtyard, they laughed together, realizing men and women might think differently, but together they created balance. His practicality meeting her sense of beauty. Life along the Nile brought them joy and more comedy. During the festival of Opet, when the priests carried statues of Amun and the streets filled with dancers, Nefret insisted on watching the grand procession. "This is the drama of the gods," she said excitedly. Khepri, however, had his eyes fixed on a group of wrestlers competing in the marketplace square. "No," he protested, "this is the final match. The greatest warrior of Thebes is here." Nefret folded her arms. "Are you fool? The festival is life." Khepri shouted back, "Are you fool? Wrestling is life." Their argument amused those standing nearby. In the end, they stood side by side, Nefret cheering for the procession of Amun, and Khepri secretly sneaking glances at the wrestlers. By evening, both admitted they had enjoyed being together more than the event itself, and once again, peace returned not through victory, but through togetherness. At the end of each month, as the moon waxed and waned over the Nile, Nefret would sit with her papyrus scrolls and ask, "Khepri, where did all the silver go?" He would proudly list, "On oil for the lamps, wheat for bread, honey for cakes, and—" then pause. Nefret would narrow her eyes. "And what else?" He would scratch his head and admit softly, "A new spear from the blacksmith." Nefret threw up her hands. "Are you fool? We need a new grinding stone, not another spear." Their fights over money echoed in their mud-brick home, but they soon learned to laugh and compromise. They made a rule. 1 month Nefret would decide how to spend the extra silver. The next month, Khepri would. Some months brought new tools for cooking and weaving. Others brought spears and hunting nets. Both felt included, and so the household remained peaceful despite their differences. Years later, when their first child was born, life took a new turn. The sounds of crying echoed in the middle of the night, mixing with the distant croak of frogs by the river. At midnight, Nefret would nudge Khepri, "Get up, it's your turn to rock the baby." Half asleep, Khepri mumbled, "Are you fool? It's your turn." Nefret glared, "I woke up last night." Khepri, desperate, whispered, "Let's toss a scarab bead to decide." Nefret shot him a look sharper than any spear. "Are you fool? This is our child, not a game of chance." They both laughed in their exhaustion, realizing that parenthood was not about keeping score, but about sharing burdens. Their child, sleeping peacefully once comforted, became the symbol of their love, and even in sleepless nights, they discovered patience and a stronger bond. But there were darker days too. One evening, after a long day of work in the fields, Khepri returned home tired and frustrated. Nefret, overwhelmed with chores, also felt unappreciated. They argued bitterly, their words harsh and cold, and then came silence, silence heavier than the stone statues of the gods. Khepri sat in one corner, Nefret in another, both hurt and unwilling to bend. He thought, "Why can't she see my effort?" She thought, "Why can't he feel my heart?" Hours passed. Finally, Khepri took a deep breath, walked to her, and whispered, "Fine, you are right. I was wrong." Nefret's eyes softened and she replied, "No, I too was wrong. I should have been patient." They both laughed through their tears, realizing once more that peace comes not when one wins and the other loses, but when both surrender their pride for love. As time passed, their love only deepened. Their child grew and one day asked, "Mother, father, what is the secret of your happy marriage?" Khepri grinned and said, "We laugh a lot." Nefret added, "We forgive quickly." Together, they answered, "And we never let 'Are you fool?' become serious. It is our way of saying, 'I love you.'" Their child laughed but also understood the lesson. Peace in marriage does not come from perfection, but from patience, humor, and love. So, the truth became clear. Every husband and wife are fools in some way. One forgets, the other complains. One spends too much, the other saves too much. One loves festivals, the other loves games. But the real secret of peace is to embrace those differences, to turn arguments into laughter, and to forgive each other quickly. In the land of ancient Egypt, where pharaohs built pyramids to stand for eternity, Khepri and Nefret built something just as enduring, a marriage based not on perfection, but on humor, forgiveness, and love. Every time they called each other, "Are you fool?" it wasn't anger, but a reminder that life is too short to waste on pride. And perhaps that is the greatest wisdom passed down from the Nile. Peace in marriage is not found in temples or treasures, but in two imperfect souls, foolish enough to love each other forever. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked today's video, don't forget to hit the like button share it with your friends, and drop a comment below. I love reading your thoughts. And most importantly, press the bell icon so you never miss any of my upcoming videos. See you in the next one.